What's up, everybody? This is Ken again with Xmods Gaming. We're gonna basically put in HDMI into this Nintendo 64, and we have some screws we have to take out. So let's go over the kit. So this is a AliExpress kit. That is $40 online. I would have went with a different kit, but the Ultra HDMI I heard is like $200 and it's not in stock anymore. I think it's called the Ultra HDMI. So now I heard the improvements are not so much better over like just the S video, but if you only have an HD TV, then this should be a big improvement. But if you have a CRT screen as well, then you shouldn't have to worry about really upgrading it to HDMI. But if you want to have options, this is a good kit to get. And then it also comes with these dongle or adapter. It's more like an adapter. It goes from the mini HDMI. So they include this for all the $39.99 or whatever it is, $40. So you also get that in the kit as well. You do have to do a cutout for your case, and then you have to solder on this ribbon cable. So more than likely have to use the microscope for that. And it's pretty fine pitched, so it's not an easy install for a novice to do. Hell, I don't even know if I can do it. It's first time trying it, but I'm going to offer this as a service on my website. Or you can just email me on my website, just fill out the form, and then I'll get back to you. You know, if I don't get back to you right away, I'll get back to you eventually. And then you could just send me your console and I can install this kit for you. Or if you have another kit, you know, so I would say for this identical kit, I'll probably do it for $150. And then any other kit, I'll do, you know, just the install service if you provide the kit for about $100. And then if I end up selling these online, the whole modded console and everything, then I'll probably do it for you know, $300 as far as a whole modded console. The previous ones would go like a full, you know, the ones I've seen in the past since they came out with a different HDMI mod kit. The original ones were like $600, I think, for like a full system and everything modded, that you could buy on eBay or, you know, other modders out there. So I do have the expansion pack in my Nintendo 64, so I'll just go ahead and remove that. And then we'll go ahead and take the screws out of it and see what we can do. So I don't think I ever been into this before, but you know, as you can tell, you don't have to take all the screws out. So all these screws on the top, you don't have to take them out, just go around the perimeter, these screws, and then just grip and pull it off. And then right here are your thermal pads. So these are your heat sinks, and it's synced through the shielding. So, yeah, I'm gonna bring up the instructions here. So yeah, it's like pin 6 through 25 that you have to do. So there's a dot, and then you have to go right by the dot and then solder it. And then you got your plus, your positive 5 volts is what I mean. And that has to go to the positive side of the voltage regulator. And then this one, what does that say on it? It says con. So it has to be looks like soldered to one of the legs on this chip. So the second leg, I believe, on this chip over here. So, and then what I have to end up doing is modifying the case. So it looks like the board goes in like that. So I'm gonna have to cut a notch out to make room for it as well. Forgot to take these out. These are for, I believe, the Super Nintendo. Or not for the Super Nintendo, but the Super Nintendo has the same type of little, it's for the expansion. If you have like a, I'll just leave that in there, I guess, if it doesn't want to come out. Yeah, if you have like the DD from Japan, the disc system. And then probably what I'm going to do is take a Dremel, and then, you know, I just have a cheap Dremel. It's probably good enough for plastic. And then I have an expensive Dremel that I use on serious jobs, but I'll bust out my cheap Dremel. Let's see if I can get it out of its case. So I just have this $10 Harbor Freight / Walmart job that I got like a decade ago. I hardly ever use it because it's not that great, so you don't have to spend a lot on tools. But yeah, I think Harbor Freight has something that similar, and you know, it'll come with some bits. I don't know about for $10, but this was like 10 years ago prices. So, and then looks like there's some adhesive backing tape on there as well. But what I'm thinking about doing is getting some masking tape. you have a dollar store like Dollar Tree, I go there a lot for super glue, masking tape. Scissors. Pretty much get a lot of, you know, miscellaneous supplies that you might need. And who knows how well this will work, but it's just an idea I had in my head to make it like a template. Because if you have a clear case, then you could probably just judge it by, you know, sliding this in and then make your marks. But with this being original, like launch release case, I'm just gonna get some masking tape, and then I'm just gonna trace it out with a Sharpie. It'd help if my hand wasn't shaking, but there we go. And stick it on the back, and then kind of give you a kind of like a judge of where to cut. I mean, I'm not a carpenter or anything, but maybe put your port on there roughly where it's gonna go, and then put that right there. So that way you have it lined up. But, you know, I'd say for anybody, you could do what you want, because there's no right or wrong answer. But that's just how I'm gonna try it, you know. And as long as you're not jamming the cable in, I don't think you're gonna rip the port off, you know, if you're careful with it. And if you do, just, you know, you already have the ribbon cable on at that point, and you can just go order another board, you know, for that price. So, all right, well, I'll go ahead and just speed this up and do the modifications. All right, so I have my Dremel with the wheel. So I'm just gonna cut that out. You know, so this wheel might be too big, but yeah, it might be way too big. But so I'm just gonna make my incisions, and then a lot of people just file it out, you know. So, and you can even use like flush cutters, if you guys could see that. Oh, see, I didn't even go all the way through on this side. Oops. side of it. And I think maybe I'll use the flush cutters. See if I can get an angle on it. Get some pliers. Maybe I could just, now that I have it all notched out, bring my board back in. Okay, that had me worried for a second because yeah, so I probably need to do a little bit more on this side over here. But I'll go ahead and clean it all up. Well, as you can see, it's a hole. So probably not the best of my work, but first time doing it. So I'd probably recommend just like filing a little bit at a time, but for a rough cut, you know, it's not too bad. So yeah, that's gonna fit right in there. Not too bad. It's like anytime you modify something, it's not gonna come out perfect all the time. But I'm sure with practice, I can get that down pretty quickly. I probably want to go as deep, maybe just right below the line. Or not below, but right on the line. And I just use this to finish it off, this diamond sanding bit. And the masking tape also will, like if you slip, it'll keep the case from not getting marred over. And then, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go over to the microscope and we'll get that cable soldered on. All right, so what I'm trying to do here with the microscope is put some Kapton tape down so I can solder the ribbon cable to the graphics chip of the N64. And I'm gonna go ahead and tack in one side and then go to the other side and just tack that in with barely any solder on my tip. I'm just tinning up my iron. And then I'm gonna go ahead and clean off my tip and then add a little bit more leaded solder and then go ahead and just flow it all in. And then right after this, I'm gonna hook up the 5-volt to the voltage regulator, and then I'm gonna hook up the con port, or con ribbon, I should say, to the other chip on the other side. So I'm not sure exactly what that does, but maybe it has something to do with the controller functions. Alright, so we have everything mounted to our RPC chip, I think is what it says. Which I believe this handles video. But in this chip over here, you just have to solder that con ribbon to the second leg right here. And then to the voltage regulator, we got our 5 volts soldered. And then you gotta, according to the instructions, you have to set your meter to continuity mode, and then check for shorts to ground. You know, which looks like everything is pretty good. I'm gonna replace like 2 capacitors, just, you know, for the heck of it. But yeah, I would replace any capacitors, anything that any work you need to get done prior to, you know, doing the mod, you know. Because, yeah, it takes about a couple weeks to get it from AliExpress off their website. Well, actually, it probably took me like a week, really. Didn't really take that long. And then I'll just show this part of it. So I added some mounting tape. So it comes with this one, but I added that mounting tape. So I don't know if that is necessary or not. Could be one of those things where, you know, whoever manufactures it knows and then found out what all these red wires are for is if you mess up on the ribbon, then you can solder these points over here. So there's entirely different instructions to that. And then, yeah, make sure you put your silver or your brass tabs in there. And then it doesn't say to remove the shielding, so I'm just going to put that back. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place that in here. And I'm just going to check real quick to see how this ribbon is. On the flex cable, if it goes up or down. So yeah, it looks like you'll have a bend in it, and then you'll put it face down like this. And then make sure you have it straight all the way, and then lock it in there. And then, wow, that's kind of fiddly. Okay, so we want to move the shield out of the way. Then put the shield in. Okay, it looks like it's not shorting on anything, so that's good. And then put this in. And then oh, other way around, duh. All right. And then I think it's enough to test, so we'll go ahead and test it out. All right, so I have it working here, and it's not gonna be a good representation just because it's the camera's crooked and all that, but anyways. So it looks like you can get in the menu if you hit like the start button, A and B at the same time. Oh, okay, there we go. So we got, oh, and use your C button to navigate. So you got dynamic, different video modes, mild. So I guess it's kind of like a contrast, I believe. So standard, and then you go down, and then you can select your color modes. So those are like just filters, I guess. And then aspect ratio. So 1 is normal. I think one's stretched and one's less stretched. And then you got factory reset, which I guess resets everything back to the way it was. So yeah, it looks like everything's working. So I guess final thoughts on this is it's not an easy mod if you have watched this tutorial somewhere else on a different channel. So yeah, it is worth the money to buy one pre-modded, or, you know, have someone you trust do it, you know, or just pay somebody to do it. And yeah, you know, just keep track of your screws, make sure you know where everything goes. And yeah, you know, so if you're interested in me doing this for you, go ahead and contact me from xmodsgaming.com. On my website, just fill out the form, and then I'll get back to you. And then yeah, you know, roughly $150. So yeah, I hope you like this video. Oh yeah, one more last thought before I close this out. As you can tell, this one doesn't have scan lines or anything, so you probably want to get the fancier kits on that. Plus, there are some TVs that I believe don't work with it, from what I heard researching this mod. So this is an older Sony Bravia 1080p TV. If you have like some of the newer 4K TVs, might not work with it, so just keep that in mind. All right, so I'll see you guys next time.